if you guys saw the title, I know this is kind of a topic that is a little bit hard to speak about. And I didn't bring any notes because I just really wanted to just talk about it, you know, kind of like us speaking to each other personally, like we're just talking in the living room, drinking tea, we're just having a chat. So I didn't want to make this so formal. So the topic is this: do they want power and equality, or do they want revenge? Now, you might say, like, okay, some people say Western women want it all. They want all of that and more. But I have a suspicion that it's more of a revenge thing that a lot of people want here, especially women. They really want revenge. So this is the thing. When we see so many women in today's world always talking how they should have the same. But if you notice, most of them don't get the same, or they don't want the same, but rather they want special treatment, more rights, and more power over the men. They want superiority, not equality. You know what I mean? And the argument is that, well, they've had all their lives, or, men have had it all through the history and all through time. They've had everything, and we have sat here and just taken it, and we've suffered in silence. And now it's our turn to make them suffer in silence. But we're not going to say that. What we're going to say is that we want to be equal. We want fair treatment, which really means special treatment. We want equality, and we want to be seen as equals, which really means I want to be superior, more superior than you, because this is where I'm going with this. I see a problem, and this is a little bit political, but I think most of you guys kind of understand my political views. I'm the anti-feminist. I hate feminism. I hate that it ever started, honestly. And I know people will say, well, there are so many waves, and the first wave was good. Kind of. So, right. So where I'm going with this is that in schools, I've seen recently, in schools, they're teaching the children that girls are equal to boys, and that boys are bad. Essentially, every behavior that a boy has, if a boy is this the word, guys? Help me out. Is it rambunctious? Rambunctious. If a boy is energetic and he cannot sit still and what have you, this is all natural for boys. But they try to make the boys act like girls. And to the girls, they're like, oh, you're perfect. You're perfect as you are, darling. Even if the girl is gaining weight, the girl is fat, the girl is uncooperative, the girl is, now I'm talking about school. This has nothing to do with women yet. The girl is uncooperative, she's overweight, she's a brat, she doesn't play well with others. All of those things is just like, well, it's okay because we don't want to say anything that makes them feel bad. But for the boys, I've noticed that boys, they get punished a lot more than girls. They get sent to detention and all of this. They get sent to medical clinics to put them on medications, Ritalin and Adderall. I believe it's like Adderall and Ritalin. They force these kids to take these drugs, and it's mostly to boys. Because how dare boys be boys? Now, this is the argument that we had on Lapeef Network. If you guys remember, the question that JR had presented to us was, are the schools responsible for feminism being taught to children? Part of this, when we speak about how the boys are treated and how the boys are not tolerated, their natural behavior, their natural desire to be hands-on and to go outside and learn rather than sit at a desk and write cursive, this natural behavior of boys is seen as just intolerable. It's seen as the worst. It's seen as toxic. I'll get there in a second with toxic masculinity. But so when JR asks us that question, this all ties back to the teachers. When I answered yes to that question, I said yes, that feminism is taught in schools, and the argument was, well, just because the teacher is a woman doesn't make her a feminist. No. But what we know, everybody knows this, is that most teachers lean left. They lean more to the liberal side. So on the liberal side, this is where all this feminism is being taught. So can you really tell me then that it's not the teachers doing it? We can't blame the teachers because, oh, not all teachers are feminists? No, because the majority of the curriculum taught to children today is leftist curriculum. There are rainbow flags in the classrooms. What does that have to do with children? I have no clue. What does that have to do with learning math, science, history? A rainbow flag? Well, it's social indoctrination and so on. And this all begins in school. So you think about children at that age. So now the boy has already been put on Ritalin, Adderall. He's already been sent to detention because he can't sit still. All of his teachers are women because the majority of teachers are women. And he's being indoctrinated with the leftist ideology, which is more tolerant of women, I guess you can say that. It's more tolerant towards women. Now, the boy moves on to go to high school. In high school, things get even more real because then it turns into, well, class, today we are going to learn about toxic masculinity. And now we're going to teach the children that boys are toxic. Every behavior that masculinity is associated with is now bad. This is where I'm telling you guys that this is not a cry for equality. It's not a cry for power. This is about revenge. And you may say, like, okay, not everybody wants to be revengeful. Not everyone is, doing this agenda. But the person who started this, if you guys don't know the history, there is, I don't know if I can say this on this channel. Oh, God. Okay. I'll say it kind of like this. There was a man from a long time ago. His first name was Yuri, and his last name I can't pronounce. It starts with a B. So type into Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever you use, Bing, Yuri B, and it will finish itself, I'm pretty sure. This person was talking about how society can be taken over, how it can collapse, how the war is kind of warfare. It's a different type of warfare than guns and bombs and so on. This warfare has to do with creating division in the people, creating the division between everything. Everything can be divided. This is what Anton always speaks about. If you guys don't know, when Anton is always speaking about not dividing by color, but by character, the reason he says that is because once you start dividing people by color, gender, sexual orientation, everything that you want, nationality, everything, it won't stop.